I have been so excited to do this video. Today we are going to do my 2023 Wrapped. We are going to go through all of the planners that I tried in 2023, and let me tell you something, there's quite a few of them. Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Julie. We talk about all things planning, productivity, lifestyle, and everything in between over here on my channel. If you're not already subscribed, make sure you click that subscribe button below to join in on all the fun weekly here over on YouTube. So, let me tell you something. When I started this project of thinking of doing a Wrapped for 2023, I had to scroll my own Instagram to figure out where I was each and every month of the year. All right, so let's start at the very beginning. In the month of January, I was pretty much starting off in my Moxie Life Planner. If you're not familiar with the Moxie Life Planner, it is a goal setting planner with planning mixed in. So you can set your goals and plan your life week to week. This is pretty much where I started my year, along with the cousin and the weeks as sort of like companions. The pages were definitely very structured. If I ever go back to this planner, it would probably be a lot more like this. I think in this planner, I definitely preferred the structure and the simplicity over the way I was planning in previous months in my planners. This is a spread where I kind of like did incorporate some stickers, but I was really starting to lean in on maybe less stickers at this point. And I did stay in this for a little bit of time, but not a long time. I am not even sure that I made it past March in this planner. I kind of knew that I was just reaching for other books more often because I wasn't even finishing my spreads. Like I would set them up for the week, but then I wouldn't reach back for them afterwards, which is a telltale sign that me and a planner are just not kind of jiving. Do I think this planner is great? Absolutely. It obviously was not working for me and the style of planning that I was looking for. So once April came around, I was no longer in this book at all. Now, my weeks started off nice and strong because the weeks does start a little bit earlier, and I really loved like the overall like functionality of this book. It being a smaller book, I just felt very much like I could keep up with it. It could go in my bag if I decided to take it with me. When I did sticker in here, it was very, very minimal. And of course, the one that kept coming back all throughout the year was my Hobonichi cousin. And you're going to see this planner a lot as it comes and goes throughout 2023. And if you want to see a very detailed flip through of this book, be sure to go back and watch my last video. All right, let's talk about February. February, I was still in my cousin and in my weeks. But then came along the Common Planner. The Common Planner was new this year. It is by Sterling Ink. And at the time, it was only offered in the B6 size. I got mine a little bit late, but when I did jump into it, I quickly discovered, I did some back planning into January. But over here in February was when I started to really figure out what spreads would work for me in here, since it is slightly smaller than the A5. And I've got to tell you, I have a very complicated relationship with the B6 size because I actually really do like it, especially the back pages being so unstructured. They're not dated daily pages. They're just blank grid pages in the back. And I've really like stayed with that style of planning in it when I would use it. So here's just a few pages from February. And of course, I just continued in my weeks and in my cousin because they were just working for me at the time. So February, I was able to stay consistent in these two books since January. Now, once March came along, interestingly enough, I decided I wanted to try using a coiled daily again, and this is where I turned to the Moxie Life Daily. So similarly to the Moxie Life flagship, there is weekly planning and yearly planning in here, but also it's got your daily layouts instead of your weekly layouts. And I pretty much stayed in this book for a couple of months. Now, the biggest issue with me was that since it was undated, it was really hard to like future plan in here. So I didn't end up staying in the book as long as I wanted to. But March is where I really kicked things off and just kind of tried to figure out how I could make this work. Again, I was still in I want to use less stickers and do like more lettering, make some, minor attempts at doing some doodling, but I also wasn't really setting my goals in here. I just wasn't reaching for it for that purpose. But for the most part, this was the main planner that I was using in March, but I also added in the Laurel Denise planner. Now, this did not last very long for me. It literally only lasted the month of March for a couple of weeks. And it's not that it's a bad planner, it just didn't end up working for me. I found the size to be a little bit cumbersome. Since this launch, they have since added a mini to their planning lineup that they offer, which is absolutely great. This is a planner that is on a wire O binding. It's kind of like that 8.5 by 11, but turned on its side kind of size. So it's fairly big to sit across your desk. I mean, you can see the daily, it just like swallows it. But what is unique about this planning system is that you can see your month and your week at the same time. I've never seen a planner like this on the market, so it is great for someone who just kind of wants their book sitting up on a desk. This isn't very like take it everywhere with you. I mean, you can make that work for you, but it wasn't for me. So these are the two that I pretty much gravitated to in the month of March. Now, enter April. April was the month that I began to pull back in my cousin and my weeks again, but I decided to add in the plum paper vertical priorities in A5. I'm telling you, this year was a roller coaster of a year, and I ordered the plum paper and I kind of just like hit the ground running. I think I back planned a lot of March, simply because this actually started at the end of March, I believe, maybe the beginning of March. No, this was the beginning of March. And I actually really liked this layout. I started to feel the pull back towards stickers, but the size being A5 really had me thinking about using them less. I use more like journaling kits, like this one from Chrissy Ann Designs. And when shops offered things like journaling kits, I knew that it would be perfect for the plum paper because, again, the size and just, being what it is. And that's just what I gravitated towards. But I did end up staying in this book for quite some time, and that is kind of a shocker for me as well. I think I made it all the way from April to, I want to say, most of July, or I stopped using it in July. So I made it to the end of June in this book, which is quite phenomenal in my planner life. Now, in the month of May, I used a lot less of my weeks and my cousin, and I continued on with the vertical priorities, but I decided that I, for some reason, needed to add in the Erin Condren Daily Duo. So this was a great page that I use. This is like the dashboard page in the monthly view. I use it to kind of organize everything for our upcoming move. And I pretty much started this, I want to say it was like mid-May. So around, the 11th of May. And I really liked it. Again, I kind of stuck with the same format that I did in the Moxie Life Daily. And I kept it pretty minimal and simple. And there were weeks that I did use some stickers. I was on like this mission to use up stickers that I had, but honestly, I just had way too many, and then I really just couldn't keep up with it. So a lot of times this felt more like a chore to keep up with all the stickering. There were weeks that I tried to use the notes pages, but I couldn't keep up with that, and a weekly planner and things like that. We just had way too much going on. But starting in the month of May, this definitely became part of my planner stack. Now, in the month of June, I only used the EC Daily Duo in A5. I also still, for my weekly, did use the plum paper, so that was still around at least through most of May. But again, I stuck with a lot of days where it was just a lot of pen, and then the following week, I would try to use a sticker kit. This one is from Planner Kate. I loved using the journaling kit elements in this book. It worked really, really well for me. And yeah, there were definitely more days where it was just pen and paper because that's all that I really needed at the time. And of course, I was also embracing the blank pages because I just couldn't plan every single day, or I didn't have a need to, really. And then for the remaining parts of the month of June, I only stayed in the Daily Duo because, again, we were moving out of one house, buying another house, and moving across the country from Georgia to Texas. So we kept things super simple for the month of June. Now, once July was here, I started to get the itch to come back to my Hobonichi Cousin. And this is where I really started to embrace my daily pages in my cousin and really started journaling all the things that were going on in our world, but also still using the Daily Duo as needed. And then for the month of August, I continued to stay in just the Daily Duo, but added in my Hobonichi Cousin, as that was kind of making a natural comeback in July anyway. So in August, we just continued on with it. And again, I really started to really thrive in the daily pages and figuring out how best to make it work for me. And because the daily pages were working so well, then came September. In September, I said goodbye to the Daily Duo and brought back in my Hobonichi weeks. I really started enjoying doing like weekly recaps and monthly recaps in my Hobonichi Cousin, and that's why the combination of the weeks and the cousin continued to stay with me through September, October, and November. And then, of course, at the end of November, started the new Hobonichi weeks, and this is what I am currently in for my planning systems. I'm currently at the very end of my current Hobonichi Cousin and my new Hobonichi weeks, but I will be switching to the Sterling Ink one. That's a whole separate video, but that is where I'm at currently for 2023, and the chaotic ride of all the planners that I tried. It was truly a roller coaster of a year in my life and in the different planning systems that I tried to bring with me as each new season. It felt like it was a new season, like literally every month, which is why I broke this down by the month, because literally things were changing monthly with moving, buying a house, selling a house, changing roles at work, my husband changing jobs, my kids changing jobs. It was a lot. And each time I kind of felt like I had to change my planning system with each change. I think since then I have figured out that I could probably make what I'm currently using work, but I'm also the type of person where if I feel like something isn't working, then I definitely encourage changing it up and making it something that does work for you. I do really think that looking back on how the year went is a really great way to figure out maybe how the upcoming year is going to go in an approach of what you want to embrace and what you want to avoid. So I hope that you will take this time as well to consider doing your own 2023 Wrapped and taking a look at maybe the different systems that you used, or maybe just the one or two systems that you used throughout the year, and that will kind of set you up for a absolutely wonderful 2024 on your planning journey. I hope you guys enjoyed joining me for this 2023 Wrapped Planner edition of all my chaotic planner hopping. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. If you're already subscribed, make sure you click that notification bell so that you know when my videos are posted here on YouTube. As always, thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.